Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something different. We're going to look at a full history. Now, if you've been following for a little while, you know that we have already looked at the B-47, the B-52, and the B-59. This is the final plane in this series. Now, there are other planes that I want to do full histories on, like the SR-71 and maybe even the U-2, but I'm getting a little tired of doing these. So let's get started with the intro, and then we'll get into the full history. The Boeing B-52 Stratofortress is an American long-range heavy payload bomber which first flew in 1955 and has a distinctive appearance with its 8 engines and thin, long body, giving it the nickname the Fat Lady. It is one of 2 active bombers in the United States Air Force inventory, the other being the smaller, lighter, and much more modern B-2 Spirit. With a range of 14,000 kilometers or 8,700 miles, the B-52 has the longest combat range of any aircraft ever built. The B-52 was designed to penetrate deep into enemy territory carrying conventional and nuclear payloads, and has been. It's operated continuously since its introduction in 1955. It is also the oldest aircraft still in active service in the United States, Air Force having flown for over 67 years now. But despite its age, remains an important component of the nation's strategic deterrent force along with the B-2 Spirit. In fact, the United States Air Force plans to continue flying the B-52 until 2040. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the full history. The origins of the B-52 can be traced back to 1946, when the Boeing Airplane Company began preliminary design studies on a new long-range heavy bomber for the United States Air Force. At the time, the Air Force was looking for a plane that could carry a nuclear payload deep into enemy territory, and the XB-47, which had just entered service, did not meet the requirements. The new bomber would need to have a range of at least 7,500 miles, a large payload capacity, and the ability to fly at high altitudes, where it would be out of range of most air defenses. In May 1946, the Boeing design team led by Chief Engineer Joe Sutter submitted their proposal to the Air Force, which was designated the B-52. It was essentially an enlarged and improved version of the B-47 compared to the B-47. The B-52 had a longer fuselage, a thinner wing, and 8 jet engines instead of 4. The plane was also designed to carry larger and heavier bombs, including thermonuclear weapons. On June 14, 1946, the Air Force awarded Boeing a contract to build a prototype of the B-52. And on September 15, 1946, the first B-52 rolled out of the factory. The plane made its first flight on October 14, 1946, piloted by Tex Johnston and co-piloted by Bob Hoover. The B-52 was an instant success, flew faster, higher, and farther than any bomber before it. The United States government was so impressed with the B-52 that they ordered 299 of them. The first B-52s were delivered to the Air Force in 1955, and the plane was officially unveiled to the public on April 15, 1955. The B-52 was an immediate success with the public and the press. Its range, speed, and payload capacity made it the most formidable bomber in the world. The plane's distinctive appearance with its 8 engines and thin, long body also made it instantly recognizable. This was further emphasized by the nickname given to it by the press, the Fat Lady. The nickname stuck, and the B-52 is still known as the Fat Lady today. During the Cold War, the B-52 was a key component of the United States nuclear deterrent force. The plane's ability to carry large nuclear payloads deep into enemy territory meant that the Soviet Union was never able to get too close to launching a first strike against the United States. The B-52's long range also allowed it to fly missions over much of the world without refueling, making it an extremely flexible weapon. One of the most famous missions flown by the B-52 was Operation Power Flight in 1961. The mission involved a B-52 flying non-stop around the world without landing. The flight took 45 hours and covered a distance of 45,577 miles, setting a world record for distance flown without landing. During the Vietnam War, the B-52 was used extensively by the United States Air Force to conduct bombing raids on North Vietnam. The plane's heavy payload capacity allowed it to carry large amounts of bombs and other munitions which were used to destroy bridges, roads, and other infrastructure in North Vietnam. The B-52's long range also meant that it could fly from its base in Guam to its targets in North Vietnam without refueling. The B-52's distinctive sound became a familiar sound of the people of North Vietnam, and the plane was nicknamed the Ugly American by the North Vietnamese. In the years since the Vietnam War, the B-52 has continued to be an important part of the United States military. The plane has been used in combat operations in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it continues to be a key part of the nation's nuclear deterrent force. In recent years, the B-52 has undergone several upgrades to keep it in service until 2040. These upgrades include the addition of new engines, new avionics, and new weapons. The B-52's new engines, the GE Nexon GEF-118, are more efficient and powerful than the plane's original engines. The new avionics have improved the plane's navigation and targeting accuracy. And the new weapons include the ability to carry Tomahawk cruise missiles and Joint Direct Attack munition-guided bombs. Today, the B-52 is one of only 2 active bombers in the United States Air Force inventory, the other being the B-2 Spirit. The B-52's distinctive appearance and long range make it one of the most recognizable planes in the sky. With a range of 14,000 kilometers, or 8,700 miles, the B-52 has the longest combat range of any aircraft ever built. The B-52 is also the oldest aircraft still in active service in the United States Air Force, having flown for over 67 years. But despite its age, it remains an important part of the nation's strategic deterrent force. In fact, the United States Air Force plans to continue flying the B-52 until 2040. Alright, that's all I've got for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and remember to leave your comments down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.